So I was thinking about this, right? In fact, when I was reading, when I was coming, I requested Muchai to, what do I read to prepare for, Africa? And, he recommended, read Wangari Maathai's book, right? And when I started reading, I realized that there was so much common in the history of both India and Africa. The experience of being older civilizations that were brutally faced with modernity through colonization, right? And she uses this term that we are in the wrong bus, which means that we are going somewhere, and the model that Africa is following, also India is following in a way, is this very materialistic, capitalistic world that that we are all building, right? And and for me, right, open source represents that other world, because if you go back one step, right, intellectual property itself is a very modern invention, right? I mean, knowledge used to be free, right? Knowledge used to be shared, and maybe that's a different bus. Now, I'm not saying this is the best bus, but at least, uh, uh, yeah. So I mean, for me, the vision for Africa and also for the world, right? I mean, is just to try something different, build a very different kind of community, build a very different kind of way of life. And this is a very ambitious slash maybe crazy idea, but if you are asking vision, then it's something. And then, as I always say, right, there are only two types of companies in the world: those that use ERP Next and those that will use ERP Next. Yeah, so this is how it started in India as well, right? There were not even 100, maybe 50 people in a room, right? Uh, and it grows, right? So the conference before last, we had booked 300 seater hall, and that got sold out. So the last conference, from 300 we went to 600 people, and the growth in India is just amazing. And if you have several of these events every year, then you kind of get familiar, the people. And I think Muchai has been a great leader so far in the community to bring all of us together. And we've already started, there is a Telegram group that all of you can join as the African community. We've already, thought that we will do a full Frappeverse event here maybe next year. This being like and open source, like, you don't need people from Frappe to be here, right? Start a local meetup every once a month. Just call people. I remember in our first meetup in Mumbai, like, one person showed up, right? So it's okay, right? That's how everything starts, right? It starts very small, but so do local meetups. So if you have office space, somebody, just say, this is an office space, maybe get some samosas, or we got certain samosas, that's it, right? So just get some snacks and call people, right, for a meetup. And great, thanks. Yeah.
So thank you for your introduction and your comments. So mine is basically based on security. If you speak to the Kenyans who are here, and some of us who've been to other African countries, when you speak of open source, they think of insecurity. So anytime I'm trying to implement anything open source, they tell me it's not secure, will be hacked, etc. So I'm in cybersecurity, and I would want to know what it is you are doing to ensure that your application security actually comes out very well, and what we can do as a community who are embracing open source to ensure that the people we are giving the services to can actually embrace this.
So this question always comes. In the very early days, Microsoft had said this. They were kind of spreading these lies about open source. They used to call it fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But open source is some of the most secure software out there, right? All our phones run on Linux. So I think this myth, and most people these days are very aware of that. It's not that open source is less secure. In fact, it's usually more secure because more people know the code and they can fix it. From our experience, we've worked with 4,000 customers now, Several of them have asked for a lot of security reports. So we do a lot of third-party testing also on and customers also do. They send us reports occasionally. Every other month somebody will send us a report. We got the security audit done. Can you fix these things? To be very honest, like third parties don't know anything. Our internal teams really know the security issues. There is a very strong working group. If you know Sagar Ora and Rafael from Germany, right, from Aleph, so there are 2 or 3 people who are very, very actively scouting for issues because they understand the architecture well. And so yes, there is a very strong internal security group that keeps on fixing issues. And if you look at GitHub, you can see a lot of security fixes going all the time. Plus, we also have a proper reporting system where we get a lot of reports from the community as well, and we go and fix those vulnerabilities. So security, like quality, in my head is a process. There is no final end goal for security. There is no end goal for quality, but it's constant vigilance, constantly addressing the issues that are being reported as fast as we can. So, yeah, maybe one question and then we can move on with the schedule.
My question is about continuation. Let's say some of our customers will ask, okay, so what's the framework based on, and who is behind that, and how big is that organization, and what's the future look like? So these are things that, of course, also make me also want to also better understand how, let's say, are also decisions made in terms of the roadmap, how a thing is being charted out, so that we can also kind of better understand how the future is also being shaped, and so that we can also be increasingly secure that where things are heading is a road that we are also confident that is going to be there for a foreseeable future.
Yeah, so roadmap is a question that comes in every Frappe event. So one is Frappe as an organization is now 16 years this year, right? So I think that's more proof than ever, right? I mean, if you just see, if people ask me questions, I say just put ERP next on Google and just see how many replies you get, right? We have 25,000 people on the Discuss forum. The Discuss forum gets 1 million page views a month. So it's a huge community beyond just Frappe, right? And it's a very significant, fast-growing. Like if you just see the number of commits, just the frequency of commits on GitHub or the frequency of posts on Discuss, I mean, you get the sense of the activity, right? So I think mostly that part is covered now, I feel. On the roadmap piece, the way Frappe works is, we are not a centralized organization. So every engineer owns a piece of code. So somebody owns accounting, somebody owns stock and inventory, somebody owns the framework, and somebody owns and they choose their own. They choose their own work in the sense they choose what to put in the product. And currently, our focus is really on bug fixing. Like I said, there is a backlog of reported bugs that we haven't addressed. So that's the current roadmap. In Frappe framework and ERP Next, we don't really expect a lot of new features because we talk to customers a lot, and very, very few new things, maybe an offline pause or something like that may come up once in a while, but it's not like we have a whole bunch of features that customers have been asking for. And this is where I think great opportunity for also, so integrations we want the community to build, because it's impossible for somebody in India to sit and figure out what is Kenyan tax regulation, right? It's best if some local partner has built. Even India's regulation now is managed by another partner. So all the integrations, the compliances, we really hope the community can fill that gap, and I think it's great opportunity for the community to also get revenue and get branding around integrations. Other than that, Hussein is going to talk about Frappe Labs, which is what we are really excited about. So, yeah. Great, thanks a lot, and yeah, maybe you want to.